Good morning. Good morning. It's day 239. I'm a little bit later than normal because I'm in a different time zone, in a different place, but the sun is still rising. You can see over the trees there. I am with a lovely close friend at her house in Texas. It is so awesome. Oh, and man, we got into some deep theological discussions on and the goodness of God, but also the mystery of God and how we all want to testify, prove, have people know what we know, feel what we feel. And we're the only living proof. Humans are like the only living proof. Well, nature, of course, is, and just the miracle and the complexity of everything and how it all works together testifies. But man, we humans, we are so limited by our senses and even our logic in the way our brains work. And we want to constantly prove the unprovable when it comes to the spiritual realm, to God. Is God real? Can he be trusted? Give me evidence. And I was reading John chapter 5 this morning, so I'm just going to actually read a passage. And here, I will turn the camera around while I read so you can have a beautiful Texas sunrise view. And it says, if I were to testify on my own behalf, my testimony would not be valid. But someone else is also testifying about me, and I assure you that everything he says about me is true. In fact, you sent investigators to listen to John the Baptist, and his testimony about me was true. Of course, I have no need of human witnesses, but I say these things so you might be saved. John was like a burning and shining lamp, and you were excited for a while about his messages. But I have greater witnesses than John, my teachings and my miracles. The Father gave me these works to accomplish, and they prove that he sent me. And the Father who sent me has testified about himself. You have never heard his voice or seen him face to face, and yet you do not have his message in your hearts because you do not believe in me, the one he sent to you. You search the scriptures, but you think they give you eternal life, but the scriptures point to me. Yet you refuse to come to me to receive this life. Your approval means nothing to me because I know you do not have God's love within you. For I have come to you in my Father's name, and you have rejected me. Yet if others come in their own name, you gladly welcome them. No wonder you can't believe, for you gladly honor each other, but you don't care about the honor that comes from the one who alone is God. Yet it isn't I who will accuse you before my Father. Moses will accuse you. Yes, Moses, in whom you put your hopes. If you really believed Moses, you would believe me, because he wrote about me. But since you don't believe what he wrote, how will you believe what I say? Oh boy, the spiritual stuff is so interesting because we know we have this spiritual aspect to us, proof of even hundreds of different religions and philosophies that testify to it, that prove, and yet we get so caught up in our physical five senses and what is like tangible and provable. And even when we see, yesterday we talked about believing is seeing. And even when we believe for something, or sometimes even when we see it, our minds just can't even comprehend it. And we'll try to rationalize or explain the unexplainable. And yet we know, like, go to a local library or bookstore, or open your movie library, and yet you see evidence of people searching for this truth, something that we can't quite put language to, but we know. And yet, if we can't see it, feel it, touch it, if it's not right in front of us, our brains want to kind of reject it. It's our higher selves that need, and our spiritual knowing, that need to just trust and do it anyway. Believe it anyway. Believing is seeing, and living from that place of faith and doing things that are counterintuitive over and over again until you learn and you prove it to yourself. And then you know. And humans, and we've talked about this so many times before, humans want to know first. They want proof and the evidence first, and then I'll believe it. And that's just not how God works, because that doesn't require faith. There's nothing that requires faith and trust about that. He's asking you to trust and faith first, and love, and then act from that place so that you will be able to prove the unprovable to yourself. And there's just no other way. There's no shortcuts. There's no other way. Sorry, I'm just the messenger. But I'm learning and experiencing this for myself as I'm going on this journey. And now I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it, because I'm doing it. And it's not necessarily always easy. I get it wrong a lot of days. I fall and I stumble, but that's okay. I know I'm in the process, and I know that I'm fully human. I am not God. I will get it wrong, and I have forgiveness. I have acceptance. My friend and I were just talking about that too. He's happy that we're just even trying, that our heart is in it, that we are all in it, and we're seeking and finding a little bit at a time, as much as we're ready for, and we're practicing, and we're getting better day by day, and we're learning how to trust, have faith in true love versus what our brains want to tell us to do, our egos, our fear, to live from this way. And we catch ourselves. The more we practice, the more we're like, oh, yep, I did. I feel like Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. Oh, geez. But I learn through those struggles, through the failings, through the trials, and then I get right back and I try again. God is not expecting perfection from us. Even Jesus said, I am not perfect. There is only one who is good. I'm not good. There's only one who is. But I'm here as a messenger. I'm here as a role model. And it's our job to prove it to ourselves. We are the only ones that can prove the unprovable to ourselves. And we want to kind of watch others, and we see some evidence. We're like, well, maybe, and hopefully we can be curious enough to lean in on our own and get on the journey. But there's no shortcuts. We've got to do it ourselves. In order to have the rewards for ourselves of living in this new way, we have to do it ourselves. And that is how we find our proof. That is how because we have to enter into the test in order to testify, get testimony, be a witness. We have to engage. And when you're sitting on the sidelines or only kind of doing a little bit here and there, and you think you're checking the boxes, it's hard. You don't know until you know. You've got to fully walk in faith, which really requires living from a whole new paradigm and trusting it and doing things and giving yourself the evidence and the proof as you take each step. God gave us physical bodies because we need to walk out our faith and learn, get stronger with each step, and get the evidence on our own. And many of us want to have it vicariously, have benefit from others' walk and work, and just not have to do it ourselves. But we don't get strong physically that way. Somebody can't go to the gym for us. We don't get healthy bodies by watching other people eat their kale salads. And we can't grow spiritually without eating and drinking the living water and the nourishing word, and meditating on it. Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. So if you want to prove the unprovable to yourself, you've got to do what you think is impossible and start moving in that direction and doing it even when it feels uncomfortable. I don't know. Walking out in faith. I don't you get a vision, you get a message, you like, I don't know, do it anyway. And love that person anyway, even when they're being a blockhead, and know that they're being the best they can. Do the thing that God's calling you to do, even though who's going to be watching? Hello, that's what I'm doing. I have no idea if anybody's watching right now or will, and I'm doing it anyway. Because I'm growing through the process. And even if I help one other person, one other soul come along with me, and we get to know God together, that's worth it. That's what it's all about. And even if I'm the one saving myself and freeing myself, by doing this crazy thing like going live every day. It's not really crazy. It's fun. It's an adventure. And I look forward to it every day. And I love that today I'm in this beautiful, beautiful place. So have a great day. Rise and shine. John chapter 5. All right. Bye.